Hello, Justice Warriors. What up? Fancy meeting you here at night. And so, since it's at night, the lighting is completely different. Something just fell. You know me, I get all cray with the lighting. And then, my goodness, like the scarf and the sweater. And I should just throw a hoodie on and not worry about it, right? See you soon, Annie Ruler says. Granny Annie traveling again. Wait, aren't those both you, Annie Ruler? Isn't that you? That's you, right? That's you talking to you? Oh, too funny. Maybe it's two different people. I totally thought you were like one and the same person. I'm not kidding you. That's hilarious. Well, I have to stop singing in my underpants cold in Vegas, but my only fans of hammer toes and bunions are sold out. You know who had a hammer toe is Foxy Noxie's boy toy that allegedly helped her with what they did to Meredith Kircher on that terrible night. What was it? November 2nd, 2007, I think, in Italy, in Perugia. Is that how you say it? Anyway, the hammer toe is some of the most incriminating evidence, although there's a lot of incriminating evidence. How is the sound? Let me pull the mic over. Although I don't want to block any of my cool stuff that I want you guys to see. Like, I love my little pyramid right here, don't you? But I guess sound is more important than like the cool pyramid. No, nothing is more important than the cool pyramid. Here, I'm just going to let you guys watch me suffer through all of my stuff because, like I've been saying lately, if I keep not coming on to my live stream until everything is completely set and ready, I'll never get on my live stream because nothing is ever completely set and ready. It is such a royal pain in the butt. Part of what doesn't help is that I do move this stuff to do my yoga videos in a different room, on a different level, a different floor in the house and everything. So anyway, I think it's all right with the mic, chakra tower, lights. Am I flooded out? Is it okay? Let me see real quick. Because I just don't like being flooded out, but then it gets too dark too. So how is that? Christine says you sound great. Hello. Granny Annie are one and the same. Granny and Annie are one and the same. Okay. So now you got me so confused. But what about Annie Ruler? Granny Annie and Annie Ruler are one and the same, right? And then Christine Herman, it's lovely to see you. It's been a little while. Thank you for coming in, you guys. Thanks so much. Let's just get right into this because I had to come on live to talk with you about the mess that P. Diddy has made of the world and that JaZ and his freaking attorney, OMG, could they be any stupider? Have you heard the latest is that they're claiming that JaZ was never friends with P. Diddy? Never friends with the guy that he twins with for the last 20 years. Okay, so now we know we can't believe a single word that either of them say. We also know, please hit your thumbs up, we also know that they're completely desperate and that they'll say anything, that they got nothing to lose, in my humble opinion. Make sure you're still subscribed if you are subscribed, and if you're not, please consider just hitting that sub button. Share a video of mine with someone you think might like my goofy little channel here, and turn on your notification bell to ring-a-ding-ding. Everything I say is simply my opinion for the sake of hoping to start a conversation and open up a discussion and learn something and be educational and all that jazz. All my videos are made for YouTube. It's an entertainment platform. I'm looking for my super fancy golden pencil, and it's missing. It's MIA. What happened to it? Man, I can't keep track of nothing. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. Seriously. I think I lost my head anyway, and it is attached to my body. But I have all my notes. I got 2 little notepads. I got 1 little doggy. Should I show you the dog or the notes? Let's get started with the dog. Come here, baby. Come here, Mook. Mookie, come here. Oh, Coco's here too. I got 2 dogs. Coco, come here, baby. Come here. Come here, honey. I want to show you off. This is my baby girl. This is my little one. I took her to her oncology appointment today, you guys. She's doing so well. So she is going to get preventative radiation treatment, but she's doing great. So the cancer has not grown back since the second time it was removed. And she is 40 pounds, but we'll just call her a lap dog. And then Mookie, come here, baby. Come here, Mookie, Mookie, Mookie. Come here. Come here. Here's my little tiny girl. My little tiny one who's always getting into trouble. Oh, this is my little schnookums with a silly heart on her head. So fortunately, she's never really been sick. And she's about 8 years old. Coco's about 10. We love our doggies. And we love our kitties too. But our kitties are camera shy. They don't want to come on to the screen. So, okay. When I got into the car to drive to Columbus today to take her to her oncology appointment, I was so happy that Justin Bieber song was playing, you guys. I'd forgotten all about it. And even though it's going to take away my monetization, I just don't care because, I'm not making any money anyway. I love this song. Like, I'm not a big Justin Bieber fan, but we know that Justin Bieber is going through it right now with all this Diddy crap. And you guys, I'm sure, have all heard the song a million times, but I love it. I'm just going to play it. Oh, stop.
She didn't find just one.
Stop with your ads.
iPhone 12 with 5G and Apple Watch SE at Metro, both for only $99.99. More holiday.
No, we're not advertising for these jerks. Stop.
Based off of love. And love isn't do this for me and I'm going to do this for you. That's not what love is. Love is just I'm going to do this for you because I want to do this for you.
So,
for all the times that you ain't on my parade, and all the clubs you get in using my name, you think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I ain't.
The best thing about this song,
and I didn't want to write a song, cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't, but you still hit my phone up. And baby, I've been moving on, and I think it should be something I don't want to hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never liked to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way you look that much, so baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. But when you told me that you hated my friends, the only problem was with you and not them. And every time you told me my opinion was wrong, and try to make me forget where I came from.
That's good advice, Granny Annie.
Write a song, cause I didn't want anyone thinking I still care or don't, but you still hit my phone up. And baby, I've been moving on, and I think it should be something I don't wanna hold back. Maybe you should know that my mama don't like you, and she likes everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself.
So, love yourself or F yourself, right? I mean, that's what I love about the song, is it's like the nicest way to say, step off, mofo. I was supposed to be going to my friend's memorial this month. Now I hope to see her another year. Wow. 1 second, we'll be done with this. I just love the song.
Fell in love, now I feel nothing at all. I never felt so low when I was grown up. Was I a fool to let you break down my walls? 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself. 'Cause if you like the way you look that much, oh baby, you should go and love yourself. And if you think that I'm still holding on to something, you should go and love yourself.
All right. So, in honor of this poor young man who I'm sure is suffering massively through all this freaking drama, and I will turn off the monetization on this because it's going to get turned off anyway because I played that song. So I might as well just make this a musical and play all my favorite songs. So yeah, it had been forever since I heard that song, and I can tell you a really funny story about it. My sister, who's a teacher, said that the music teacher at the school she was teaching at that year loved the song and thought that it was about something else. She did not understand the message. She thought it was like loving yourself and building your self-esteem. And so she had the kids sing it at the school, like the whole chorus. And I just thought that was hilarious. The kids probably loved it because they're all, like middle school, and they all understood what it was about. And they probably thought it was hilarious that their choir teacher misunderstood. And who doesn't love that song? I mean, Justin Bieber is a huge, huge star. And in my opinion, that's his best work ever. That's just my opinion. Anyway, so talking about these music moguls, talking about the Seans, the twinning Seans, Sean Combs and the other Sean Carter. What in the world? So they've never been friends. Sean Carter's lawyer attested to today or yesterday. I think that's hilarious. I mean, there aren't a lot of people on the internet talking about things from the same perspective as me. There are some, but there's not a lot. Most people are like, oh, this is over. JaZ is innocent and the girl made it all up and blah, blah, blah. No. It ain't over till it's over. And let me remind you that it took 28 years for R. Kelly to be held responsible in a court of law for the crimes that he committed against Aaliyah. 28 years. So a lot of this P. Diddy stuff goes way, way back. Way, way back. A lot of this JaZ stuff goes way, way back. Rihanna, you guys. JaZ flew Rihanna from Barbados on a private jet without a chaperone, without a parent, when she was 15. Did he fly her to New York? He flew her to wherever he had a hotel room. And at 3 a.m, she auditioned in his hotel room. I don't think she was 16 yet. And it was a 6-hour audition, just the two of them. Isn't that sweet? Blah! I mean, this is normal stuff, you guys. And then, it makes me think of that JP Diddy with Micah Miller. And I saw that Gavin Fish was doing a live right now talking about Micah Miller having strangulation marks possibly on her person. Gavin Fish does a good job. I don't think he'd be saying that if it wasn't a thing, but I'm not watching his live right now. So maybe I'll try to catch it later to see what he's talking about. Because if that's true, then we're all going to be talking about it, right? Anyway, JP Diddy, JP Miller, Micah Miller's husband there in South Carolina, Myrtle Beach, the Solid Rock Church, more music, more jailbait, these douchebag dudes who love the jailbait. And I'm sure it's just a game. Like, not only are they sick pedos, but it's like getting away with murder, like literally. I mean, because to me, that type of violation and exploitation is a crime right up there with red rum. Did I say red rum backwards? I didn't mean to. I take it back. Bleep. I'll just bleep it out. Okay. I would want to hey, Valerie, what's up? Diddy is in big trouble. Right. And he's not friends with the guy that he was twinning with for 20 years. The only way that I could pretend that I believed that to be true, that they weren't friends, is like, okay, so they weren't friends. They were lovers then, right? I mean, sure, they can pretend that they weren't friends, but it's obvious AF that they were. They would show up to these events together, twinning all the freaking time. And they hung out at these parties together all the freaking time. So sure, they might have had a roller coaster of a friendship. Like maybe they're more like frenemies. I'm sure they're competitive with each other. I'm sure that when Aaliyah was alive, that JaZ wasn't the only Sean that wanted her, right? Oh, and Damon Dash, the guy who's in the thumbnail picture, the one who was engaged to Aaliyah when she passed away, Damon Dash, he goes by Dame Dash. He discovered JaZ. Like the two of them had a company together, and he basically is responsible for getting JaZ rich and famous, and then he kind of got left by the wayside. It's a long story, but so many of these people get left by the wayside. Kathy White. So Kathy's full name is Kathy Corinna White. That's JaZ's alleged mistress that may have been pregnant, who looks an awful lot like Blue Ivy. Her middle name is Corinna. But by using Kathy White, it's going to be a lot easier to scrub her off the internet, because how many Kathy Whites do you think there might be in the world? I'm going to guess 20,000 at least. But Kathy Corinna White, and I want to say that I've heard she went by Corinne or Corinna. I'm not sure, because this is not my scene that I've known a lot about up until just this last year. All this stuff is very new to me with the whole hip hop thing. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm down with all that. Like, sure, I liked MC Hammer back in the day. Who didn't, right? Then can't touch this. But yeah, I didn't follow the music of these people, and I still don't, honestly. R. Kelly, P. Diddy, JaZ, Beyonce, J-Lo, Aaliyah. I don't know any of their songs. I don't think I could name a single one. Maybe I could name Aaliyah's song, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. I can name that one because, yeah, that was a nice title for her first big hit that R. Kelly, that was when he married her and she was 15. And he'd been with her for years. All of these people were in the scene together way before they turned 15 and 16, you guys. Even Bey. was younger than 15 or 16 when she first got introduced to the scene and these people. So her and her hubby swear that they didn't meet until they were 18. They didn't start dating until she was 18. And then they didn't start dating until she was 19. And I want to say he's 12 years older than her. And that's just like R. Kelly was 12 years older than Aaliyah. And when, I don't need to explain this to you, you guys all know, when someone's underage, that 12 years is significant AF. It can still be significant even if somebody is 40 and somebody's 52, but it's not a legal issue. And, you know, it's usually not a maturity issue either. But when a kid is a kid and an adult is an adult, it's sick, it's twisted, it's gross. Ugh. So JaZ was doing the exact same thing with Beyonce that R. Kelly is in jail for now. So he is married to the evidence, in my humble opinion. JaZ is married to the evidence of his statutory grape, as people say on the internet, rather than the R word. I usually just say, you know, violation or something like that. I mean, it's tragic. It's the worst crime, I feel, short of red rum. And I do subscribe to the same belief as the cultures that think that that type of an assault is like an incomplete murder. I mean, it is hard for people to live with that. Hard for people to live with that. So how many of these rock stars, especially the ones that got famous when they were young, had to go through this? And how many of them don't even remember because they were rugged, because they had baby oil squirted all over them, you guys. And apparently the baby oil absorbs through your skin. So they put the substance in the baby oil, like the date rape drug, and then cover the victim with the baby oil and trigger warning, and then use them as a human slip and slide. Like, sick MFs, like, lock them all up, throw away the key. Oh, I'm so disgusted by R. Kelly's lawyer and him. So, you know, over the weekend, he came out with that long attack on the attorney of the alleged 13-year-old victim. That long attack said way too much. His attorney should have truncated it. His attorney still could like retract it and say, you know, my client didn't mean to say all that. All he means to say is that he wishes the girl well and he didn't do it, right? I mean, he said so much that he painted himself into a corner. He's grandstanding, he's threatening, he's playing chess, he's daring them to try to sue him in a criminal court of law. And I'm pretty sure that they could sue him in a criminal court of law, especially because of the Mann Act violations. And then you've got people like Rihanna. Am I saying right? Rihanna, I think it's Rihanna. That, you know, the Mann Act is just for crossing state lines. International lines, whoa. So again, my brain was jumping over to J.P. Miller, Diddy, and his airplane, and what he really wanted that airplane for, because I had thought for trafficking substances. But now I'm thinking, oh, it's really easy to traffic people when you don't have to use a passport and you don't have to take them through an international airport and customs and all that. When you're a private plane on a private tarmac, I don't know. I've never flown on a private plane on a private tarmac. That's not my life. I don't know anything about that. Okay, what am I missing? The pedophile stuff, since you are not monetized, it is like they are stuck on their first experience as a therapist. Does that sound right? That's a good point, Granny Annie. Like, sure, if they were violated as children too, which I guess Clyde Davis did that to a lot of these people, and he's still alive, and that's disgusting. So yeah, it can make a victim feel empowered to then victimize other people. Of course, that doesn't excuse it at all. And whatever female was in the room allegedly with the twinning Shawns on that night after the VMA Awards, whether that was the 2000 VMA Awards or 2003, I've heard maybe it was a different year than what the victim first claimed. We don't know yet. Where was I going with that? That the female that was in the room maybe had been violated like that too. So maybe not only was she kind of scared in a frozen shock phase from speaking out or doing anything, but it made her feel empowered to witness this, that it wasn't her being victimized. Although you could argue that, like, she's being victimized too, because she's being forced to watch something really gross. Like, it's gross for people to be watching each other doing this stuff, in my opinion. I mean, I know some people get off on that, but I just think that's stupid. I think it's something that should be private. I know I'm a prude, whatever. Okay. Anyway, in my last video yesterday, I was saying, for all we know, that alleged witness could be Aaliyah. It really could be. And it could have something to do with why she's not alive anymore. Could. I'm not saying that that's the truth. I'm saying that it's a possibility. I'm thinking it's more and more likely that that was J-Lo in the room. And again, that to reiterate that that's why she's divorced from Ben Affleck this year. They divorced. Weren't they married before? Isn't this their second divorce? Or no, they didn't get married the first time they were engaged, did they? I don't think they did. Granny Annie, I have an almost 13-year-old Maltese, the Maltese Falcon, best movie in the world, with mass on his back. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jackie Bushable. Yeah. Have you had it checked? I mean, Coco had a lot of lumps, and we had them all ultrasounded, and they were all just fatty tissue. And then one of them earlier this year was like exploding. And so we took her in before it exploded. And then it turned out that that was cancerous sarcoma. They removed it, and then it grew right back. And then we had it removed again like a month ago. And she's doing great. There's no signs of it coming back. But the margin that they had around the removal was like less than a millimeter. And they like to have 30 millimeters of a margin. Like, they like to get everything 3 centimeters around the cancer. So they could only do like 1 millimeter. And so that's why we're going to go ahead and do the preventative radiation treatment. But man, it's expensive. I might seriously need to start a GoFundMe for that. You guys probably wouldn't mind. And if you did, then just don't contribute. But I actually might start a GoFundMe for that. Let's see. Her cancer is pancreatic, and it shrunk a little, hoping for more. Oh. I love that you've got a 13-year-old Maltese. Jackie Bushable. All those men think they are getting away with this stuff, and they have gotten away with it for so long. Like, all of these dudes that we're talking about, R. Kelly and the 2 twinning Shawns, they all hung out with Epstein. They all hung out with Weinstein. But up until R. Kelly, the Me Too movement didn't apply to the Black women. It literally wasn't applicable because, in the words of some Black women that I've heard talk about it on documentaries, they're not allowed to have the same rights to the autonomy of their bodies, their own personal agency. Black women have been subject to a lot more abuse than white women. White women have been subject to a lot of abuse too. I mean, I always think of the line in Titanic when Rose's mom says something like, of course we suffer. We're women, right? And it's like, yeah, women suffer a lot. A lot. I mean, men do too, but not the way women do. I mean, they don't have to go through childbirth. Come on. Anyway, I don't want to get into a feminist political thing, and I don't want to get into a racist political thing either. It's just an awareness that I didn't have until I saw that documentary about this whole thing with the R&B industry and how the Me Too movement with Harvey Weinstein and Epstein, it didn't take for that culture, but R. Kelly finally took 2 years ago, and now there's a lot of them. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of Black men, there's a lot of white men, there's a lot of Black and white men that have been victimized by douchebags like this. Terry Crews is a very, very good looking Black actor. I think he's in his 50s, and I think he used to be a professional football player. And he was sexually assaulted at a party in front of a bunch of people. And he filed a lawsuit, and he's talked about it openly. And for men, it can be even harder to be a victim and to have people know that you're a victim, or to identify for yourself that you're a victim, to wrap your mind around that. And then especially Black men. There's a lot of machismo for Black men. Like they're big and tough. They're not allowed to be gay either. I mean, I say that jokingly because we all know that there's a lot of men that are Black that are gay. But it's just more compounded. And then when you've got this internalized racism, internalized sexism, internalized homophobia, honestly, what I see going on with the twinning Shawns is internalized homophobia, that they're afraid of their own love for each other, so they go graping women together. That's what I see, in my humble opinion. Let me get caught up with you guys. And yeah, we're already half an hour, and I didn't want to stay on too long. I just had to come on live to talk about this stuff and a couple other things I want to talk about. So let me try to stay caught up with you about the cancer, the pancreatic cancer. Shrunk a little, hoping for more. Yeah, pancreatic cancer is a tough one. Parasites, that is the, yeah, I really trust OSU. They're one of the top schools, and I'm so grateful that we're close enough. It's only an hour to get there. So now you guys know how far I am from Columbus. You already knew I was really close to Springfield and Dayton and Cincinnati. So anyway, yeah. That's okay. I wish I could tell you guys everything, but yeah, you got to be reasonable, right? Because trolls, because stalkers, because we're talking about volatile issues. Anyway, to be so close to a great veterinarian school and to be able to afford the treatment. I mean, it's insanely expensive, and it's wiping us out, but at least we have the resources to get it, because I can't imagine having your dog in that situation and not having the resources. That's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Nobody should have to go through that. Let's see. Snuggle, snuggle is a man's cute phrase for grape. Not funny. Snuggle, struggle? I've never heard that. That's so disgusting. That is so disgusting. I've never heard that. Want to tup. And I don't know what this means. The tup, the T-U-P. Ugh, Valerie says. How does the guy not get passed out? Same oil touches them. Really good question, Granny Annie. You're too smart for me. My brain hadn't gone there yet. So I don't know the answer to that. Maybe they wear body condoms. mean, who knows? Maybe if they cover themselves with, I don't know, Vaseline, then it doesn't penetrate the petroleum. Seriously, I have no idea. They have fun in jail. Yeah. Yeah. Chris Watts and his disgusting butt buddies, um, take their prostates out. They should not get away with this stuff. Yes, I'm going to have them. It's hard when dogs get old. Yeah, it is, Valerie. So Coco is 10. And so we had to weigh that out too. Like, what type of suffering is it going to be for her to go through the medical treatment, and what kind of quality of life is she going to have? You have to weigh all that out for sure. We're hoping we can get another 5 years with her, because she's a mutt, and she's a medium-sized mutt. So we'll see. We'll see how lucky we get. We're just glad to get some borrowed time with her right now. We did have a dog pass away 2 years ago on New Year's, and that was really rough. We'd only had that dog for a year and a half, and she died very suddenly of an autoimmune disorder that we didn't know she had. So she was a rescue, and that was hard. Her name was Luna. I remember telling you guys about her, but I didn't tell you at first because I couldn't talk about it without crying. So it wasn't for like a week or two. If I went back to watch those videos from like the first week of January, it happened on New Year's Eve and then New Year's Day. And then I probably didn't mention it until like the 8th or something like that. Yeah, it's hard when we get old too. We all get old, right? And hopefully we age like fine wine. Weinstein is gross, isn't he? And then we've got the people with the Abercrombie and Fitch and Ohio State University, the coaches, and Wexler, the 86-year-old guy who they all hung out with Epstein. Epstein was a regular with that Columbus crew, with the Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch. Michael Jeffries, the guy that was just arrested a few months ago. Yeah. And then when you get into the whole modeling thing, you have all of these people traveling on airplanes without their parents that are underage, that are vulnerable and no doubt getting victimized. He just lost his brother the day before Thanksgiving, out of the blue, heart failure. Oh, I'm so sorry, Jackie. Who just lost the brother? Are you speaking about a person or a dog? Yikes, I did not know that. My Maltese was Pee-wee. Sadly, Granny ran over him. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, Granny. How long ago was that? We sure do. Look at Bill Cosby. He gross. Right. And he got sprung on a technicality. So gross. I sure would. Granny Annie says, my bonus son is in Hollywood business. He knew Justin Bieber quit his world tour because he knew they were going to exploit him by blackmail from old videos. Right. He's had a really rough year. And then he's the nephew of Alec Baldwin, who you guys know I despise. Justin Bieber is married to Stephen Baldwin's daughter. So, yeah, I mean, what a year for the whole families to be going through all this. And then Justin Bieber just became a father, I think, in the last year or two. And that should be a joyous time of your life. But I'm sure he's had a terrible year, I would think. I mean, he's probably just wanted to crawl into a hole and die, honestly. I mean, again, being a guy and being violated like that, having it be publicized, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. Haley, right? That's the daughter's name that's married to Justin Bieber. Haley Baldwin. So she's the niece of Alec Baldwin. C3PO, Xmas shopping and watching and listening. Awesome. Thanks everybody for being here. Look, Michael Jackson. CW needs help. Chris Watts. It's part of family. Yes. CW needs help. Yeah, Chris Watts. What a disgusting piece of crap. So Kim Porter is the ex of P. Diddy's that he fathered 3 of her children. Kim Porter passed away in a similar fashion to how Kathy Corinne White passed away, alone in her own residence, suddenly falling very sick with something that seemed suspicious. With both of them, I think there was suspicion initially with law enforcement that that they were poisoned. And these people have ties to law enforcement. They have ties to medical examiners and coroners. And it's easy to get away with red rum when you have money and connections like that. So, yeah. Oh, what did I write all this stuff? So, I was taking notes while I was driving. So I had my little notebook. So I wasn't able to like write full words. I was doing shorthand. I know I shouldn't have been writing at all, but at least I wasn't texting, right? You know how it is when I can't read my own writing. It's terrible. So, this is what I was saying. So B and J, so that's Bay and JaZ, first met. There's a lot of photographs of them together in 1997, you guys. She was 16 years old in 1997. There's a lot of photographs of the 2 of them together. So they try to say, what did they get married in 2003? When she was 22, 23? Is that when they got married? Was 2003? The lady accused of self-stabbing her back of head. That husband spent time with the ME. It started as a self-offing. Paid, I don't know. Okay, missed a bunch of these comments. Hold on. They both took shots for COVID and had bad side effects. Oh, I'm so sorry, Granny Annie. I know people who were cancer survivors. There were a lot of them that had bad side effects with COVID shots. The Biebers took shots, sad, tried to be good and faked out like so many. Oh, the Biebers had problems with their COVID shots? Well, I didn't know all this info. It's new to me. Just shocking. Well, that girlfriend he was hitting in the hotel. The girlfriend that P. Diddy was hitting in the hotel, that one is, Cassie. Is it Cassandra Ventura? Is that her last name? Cassie is what she was known as. And so that took 10 years for her to get her hands on that videotape footage because Diddy paid off the hotel security to get that footage. And without that footage, she would not have gotten her case taken care of. And her case getting taken care of is what started this avalanche, this crap-avalanche for JaZ and P. Diddy. So, they were able to skate away from R. Kelly's crap-avalanche, but this one is their own doing. So yeah, Cassandra Ventura, I'm pretty sure that's her name, Cassie. And then Kim Porter was Diddy's baby mama before he got together with Cassandra. So Kim Porter suddenly passed away allegedly right before she was going to publish a memoir, maybe, possibly, allegedly. And the official cause of her dying was pneumonia, complications from pneumonia, but she never saw a doctor for pneumonia. She never went to the hospital for pneumonia. She was 47 years old. She was in good health. It seems pretty apparent that she could have had some kind of toxic poisoning that created a pneumonia type of thing for the medical examiner to say, oh yeah, it was pneumonia. And same thing with Kathy White, Kathy Corinne White. Her cause was a brain aneurysm. She was alone in her apartment. She may have just had JaZ's baby. And there's always been a lot of speculation because Beyonce definitely was wearing a fake pregnancy belly in the only interview that she gave. So also, it was I get confused if it was 48 hours before or 48 hours after. It was 48 hours before Kathy White passed away from the alleged brain aneurysm. 48 hours before that was when B revealed her pregnant belly at the VMAs, and like with this giant announcement of her being expecting, it kind of blitzed out the media from paying any attention at all to Kathy White passing away. And I guess Kathy White had a history of mucky muck boyfriends, so they all wanted it quiet, right? It wasn't just JaZ. And I think she was allegedly JaZ's side thing for like 10 years. I think it was a long time. It was not just a short time, but I could be getting confused on the number of years, but I think it was a number of years. Anyway, that was in 2011, September of 2011. And then January 7th of 2012 is what they claim is Blue Ivy's birthday. And right before I came on live, you guys, I was catching a little bit of somebody's YouTube video where they were looking at the photographs of Blue Ivy from the Mustafa opening last week with JaZ and Beyonce. And this content creator was commenting about the expression on Blue Ivy's face. And I hadn't really identified it until she was talking about it. And it's like, yeah, Blue Ivy looks pretty freaking miserable. She does not look happy. And she should be like on top of the world because it's her opening of Mustafa. But she was probably mortified that JaZ was there. Like, why did he have to show up and try to pretend like everything was normal? Like, that's messed up. Like, that's like stealing her thunder. Like, it's her day. It's her event. Just let it be. Let's see. Yeah, I know vaguely what you're talking about, Granny Annie, with what you said here. Did I already highlight that one? The lady accused of self-stabbing her back of head. That husband spent time with the medical examiner. It started as a self-offing paid. You know who else was buddy-buddy with the medical examiner in Seattle? Was the lead singer of the band Hole. Yeah. Kurt Cobain's ex-wife was really tight with the medical examiner, like really, really, really tight, like in bed with. And that was the same medical examiner for Kristen Pfaff, who was the lead guitarist from Hole, and the same medical examiner for Mia Zapata, who is the lead singer for the Gits. And all three of those people, Stephanie Sargent from 7 Year Biatch, all three of them passed away in the same time frame, like June, July of like 1992, 93, and 94. And within like a week of that lead singer's birthday, which is like June or July. And then what was it, 93 or 94 that Cobain passed away? He passed away in 94, right? March of 94. Like first there was that situation in Rome in February of 94. Am I getting my time frame right? And then it was April that he didn't survive the situation that happened 6 weeks after the other situation that happened that he did survive, where, you know, he was like roofied to death almost in Rome. Like he overdosed on roofies, allegedly. He roofied himself almost to death, you guys. Like, come on. No one's going to roofie themselves almost to death. Come on. I mean, people can easily pass away from an accidental overdose from a roofie, but I don't think Kurt would have done that to himself in Rome. And then what allegedly he did to himself a couple of months later in Seattle, where somebody was sleeping with the coroner. So, and the police chief, allegedly. You guys know I've talked about that a lot over the years that I've had my channel, and it's hard to talk about it too directly because, you know. Okay, let's just keep plodding forward. Let's just skip right over that, right? Let's see. I really don't listen to the news concerning such things like this from Hollywood unless it's on local newscasts and can't avoid it. Yeah, I am very taken with all of this stuff with Diddy and JaZ as of this year. Like, I never paid attention to any of it with R. Kelly until the stuff with Diddy. So it was earlier this year when his properties got raided that it was bringing all these things up, like with Tupac and Biggie and Kim Porter, and the list goes on and on. Kathy White. Hey, baby. Do you need me to let you out, Mookie? Come here. So, yeah. Hold on one sec. Let me drink a little water. And yeah, I didn't know anything about Aaliyah when I watched the R. Kelly, Surviving R. Kelly series. Then I watched a bunch of stuff about Aaliyah and really was enlightened. And yeah, the stuff with her fiance, Dame Dash, it took me a long time to really understand how all the stuff, how it all fits together, how all these people fit together, how J-Lo fits into it all. And yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, J-Lo was a fly girl, and the other fly girl that got really famous was Rosie Perez. Rosie Perez was discovered by Spike Lee. Oh, and Paula Abdul, wasn't she like the choreographer for the Fly Girls? I think she was. Anyway, yeah. Hey, Mookie. Anyway, I've always been a big Spike Lee fan. Always been an admirer of Paula Abdul and Rosie Perez. And, you know, I used to think that J-Lo was okay until all of this stuff, and really, it's really opened my eyes to what a piece of crap she is, too. Absolutely a piece of crap. In my humble opinion, she's as bad as these guys that do these things to these kids, it seems. Like, no wonder none of her marriages work out. Hasn't she been married like 4 times? Like, when is she going to learn to quit being such a scumbag? I guess these narcissists don't learn. That's part of the disease, if you want to call it a disease. It's just a hard wiring that you just can't undo. Greenfield, the self-offing is now red rum. Oh, was Greenfield the name of the coroner in Seattle, the King County coroner? It might be. I could look that up real quick. Let's see. Because Mia Zapata, because they were friends with the guy too. Like he would go to their concerts. So he recognized Mia. He knew it was Mia. And he called her bandmates and said that she was there. Like he shouldn't have done that. That was messed up. That she was there, you know, on the like cement slab or the metal table or whatever. Let's see. I'm going to look up that name, Greenfield. That's just easier to type that in. I think that that's right. That's ringing a bell. It's not really clear on here. King County. No, it's okay. King County Medical Society, Mark D. Greenfield, MD. I hate it when I do this to you guys, when I'm like typing stuff in and not talking. I apologize, especially when it's later in the day, because then I have a harder time rallying. Let's see. And thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of my program. Dang it. Yeah, I'll have to look it up more later. Here, it looks like it's in this article. I'll just read you guys the article so I'm not just being all quiet. Nirvana bombshell. Kurt Cobain coroner boasted he was intimate with rocker's wife, Courtney Love, and unqualified to carry out autopsy. Oh, interesting. I chose this one. I didn't know that it said that. The coroner who carried out Cobain's autopsy boasted he'd been intimate with Nirvana star's wife, Courtney Love. It has been sensationally claimed. Best-selling author Ian Halperin said that medical examiner Dr. Nicholas Hartshorn admitted to him that he had a conflict of interest when determining that Cobain illed himself at his home in Seattle. And Halperin claims Dr. Hartshorn, who passed away in a base jumping accident in Switzerland in 2002, was a Nirvana and Courtney Love superfan who lacked the necessary expertise in toxicology. He exclusively told the U.S. Sun that the medical examiner confessed during an interview with him in '96 that he should have been recused from the autopsy. The bombshell allegations came after a purported copy of Cobain's autopsy report, which has never before been made public due to Washington state privacy laws, was leaked online last week. When was this article from? This is from February 5th, 2024. So it was early this year that it was leaked online. Wow. I'm so glad I pulled this up, you guys. Again, thanks for being here. If you weren't here, I wouldn't be doing this. This is a wonderful kismet, isn't it? This is exactly what I needed to find. Wow. So it was just earlier this year. How wild is that? Where was I? The bombshell allegations come after a purported copy of Cobain's autopsy report, which has never before been public due to Washington state laws, was leaked online last week. That's what I had already read. The alleged report confirms that Cobain, hey, what you doing, babe? The Cobain passed away by, self-unaliving after turning a shotgun on himself. It also states that In Bloom singer had substances including morphine, codeine, and diazepine in his blood, plus opiates and benzodiazepines in his urine and needle track marks along his right arm. Hallerpen published a book last year claiming that Cobain had 70 times the lethal dose of heroin in his system. 70. I always heard that it was many, many, many times over, but not that many times over. Because that much, somebody would be out cold and unable to use their toe to pull the trigger of a shotgun. And therefore, he could not have illed himself. The Canadian documentary maker, 59, told the U.S. Sun last year that he was challenging Love to take a lie detector test to prove that she had nothing to do with Cobain's death. Well, she inherited $150 million that she was going to get zero of because of the prenup that she made him sign when they got married 2 years earlier. Love has always strenuously denied any suggestions of being involved in Cobain's passing. I think that's the whole thing. No. Let me see how much there is. I don't want to read too much to you guys, but this is pretty interesting. So let's see where it takes us. Reacting to the autopsy report leak, Hallerpen said, "I was the first person to ever interview the coroner, and he admitted to me that he should not have been the guy to do the exam. I showed up at his office one day in Seattle, and he said, 'You're Canadian. I trust you. I'll give you the first interview.'" Never trust a Canadian, right? I'm just kidding. So he opened his office doors to me, and I saw Nirvana and Courtney Love posters all over his office. Now, that's creepy. He admitted to me that he was intimately involved with Courtney Love, and he should never have been so presumptuous with what he put in the autopsy. He admitted it was a conflict of interest, and he should have recused himself from the case, and then another autopsy be conducted. Hallerpen claims that Dr. Hartshorn, I think is how you say it, went so far as to tell him he had been on dates with Love. He insinuated to me that he had something with her and said, "I can't tell you more, but use your own imagination." His inference was that it was potentially sexual and more than a friendship. Hallerpen says that Hartshorn's bragging left him with the impression that he was a loose cannon. Well, and then he passed away, right? "Still, I cannot believe he was the guy who conducted the autopsy on the case," he said. "The authorities should have knocked him off the case." He was not an expert in toxicology either. I'll get your comments to you guys. I interviewed 3 pathologists who said he didn't know what he was talking about. The writer says Dr. Hartshorn also confessed he might have reached a different conclusion if Seattle cops had not urged him to treat it as an open and shut case of yet another junkie overdosing. Because remember, allegedly Kurt's wife was carrying on with the police chief, who has since said in recent years that he wishes he could go back and redo the case. He literally has said that on video. Literally. Is it in the movie Soaked in Bleach or one of those documentary movies? Let's see. About Kurt and Courtney. It might be the Kurt and Courtney one. While he never said he suspected red rum, he had trouble with his decisions, Hallerpin said. I believe it haunted him for the rest of his life. The autopsy report leaked online last week was signed by Dr. Hartshorn as the King County Assistant Medical Examiner and the late Dr. Donald Rie as Chief Medical Examiner. So they're both deceased. Isn't that convenient? The toxicology results were signed by an analyst, and the Washington State toxicologist. Hallerpin argued last year in his book, Case Closed, The Cobain Red Rum, the illing and cover-up of Kurt Cobain, that Seattle cops were steered away from investigating the star's death as a potential red rum. He also pointed to ex-Seattle Police Chief Norm Stamper, his previous admission that a new investigation should be launched. The purported autopsy report, I worry about Frances Bean, man, that poor girl. Not to mention her ex-husband. Anyway, the purported autopsy report was published online by private investigator Tom Grant. That is you guys know who Tom Grant is if you've followed this at all, who was initially hired by Love to investigate her husband's passing. Grant is also skeptical of the official version and wrote that the medical examiner's report had brought nothing new to the investigation other than a huge added lie about Cobain's purported suicide note, self-unaliving note, I mean. The report states a note indicating self-unaliving intent was found in the residence. But Grant believes the note was originally written by Cobain to tell fans he was quitting the music industry, with strange added lines at the bottom of the note. Yeah, in different handwriting. The former Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department detective wrote, I've always said as far back as the mid-90s, there will be nothing, and now I can say there is nothing in the autopsy report that could not be duplicated by a staged self-unaliving. Hallerpin told the U.S. Sun he still has hope that evidence could come to light supporting his theory that Cobain was red rummed. Think about what could happen to P. Diddy in jail, you guys. Epstein, right? He pointed to famous cases like rapper Tupac killer Keith D being charged 27 years after the rap icon's death, and Connecticut teen Martha Moxley. And that is the case that the guy from the OJ case, it'll come to me. They probably have it in here. The guy with the gloves, Mark Furman, he solved the Martha Moxley case, allegedly, in my opinion, many, many years later, trying to do something good with his infamy of badness. So I respect him for that, although overall I don't think I really respect him. But he did something for Martha Moxley, and that is cool. Very, very cool. Anyway, Martha Moxley's unsolved red rum being brought to trial decades after her death in 1975. For anybody who doesn't know, Michael Skakel was convicted of her red rum twice. He was her 15-year-old next door neighbor, and the Skakels were basically Kennedys. He said, I hope for justice. There's no statute of limitations on this stuff. It just takes somebody to cooperate with the authorities and for the authorities to finally take the case seriously. Case closed. The Cobain Red Rum, the illing and the cover-up of Kurt Cobain is available on Amazon. The U.S. Sun contacted Love's representative asking for comment, but did not hear back. Oh, that's surprising, huh? Okay, that's the whole article. Oh, I'm so glad I found that. Thanks for being here, you guys. We're over an hour. We'll try to wrap up soon, but let me make sure I catch all of your stuff. So, Annie, your comment is what got me to look that up. So Greenfield or Green something was the lady that stabbed herself in the back of the head while fiance went to the gym allegedly. Yeah, I hate it when I stab myself in the back of the head. It's so annoying. Ugh, I'm sorry to joke about such things. Wow, Courtney boinked an ME. Goodness, she boinked everything that moved, Granny Annie. Come on, you knew that. Yeah, gross. She's so gross. Well, anything that moved that was like the leader of a band, let's say. But I guess being like a Emmy or a police chief is sort of like being a rock star because all of the people she had affairs with were leaders of bands, like the guy from Smashing Pumpkins. What was his name? I want to say Billy Corbin or something like that. That's not right. Anyway, Smashing Pumpkins dude. She was cheating with him around the time of the near unaliving in February in Rome with Kurt. Billy Corcoran, is that right? Something like that. Let's see. Smashing Pumpkins. He's not an attractive guy, but we did like his music, right? Smashing Pumpkins members. Billy Corgan. God, he's ugly. Oh my God, he looks like something off of Star Trek or Star Wars. Sorry, not sorry. That's, did I say Billy Corcoran? Is that his name? It's hard to see. He's like there. Does he not look like a Star Wars alien? OMG. Billy Corgan. That's his name. Anyway, very talented singer. Not such a good looker. I mean, a lot of the rock stars are good looking, in my opinion. I mean, Kurt was gorgeous. He was beautiful. He had very fine, chiseled features. He tried to, like, you know, not be such a pretty boy, but he was a pretty boy. Was Cobain left-handed, tracks on right arm? Good question, Granny Annie. I forget. That's a really good question. You want me to look it up real quick? I will. Because you know how I love to look stuff up and fub you guys. I'll just ask Google if it'll tell me. I don't want to look at that guy anymore. He's weird looking. Stop it. Go away. Was Cobain a lefty? Yes, he was. He was forced to learn right-handed, but he was left-handed by nature. And with playing guitar, he was ambidextrous and alternated between playing right hand normally and inverted. He struggled to find affordable left-handed guitars as an up-and-coming musician. His left-handedness shaped his approach to music. Left-handed guitarists are relatively rare, and their unique orientation can give them an advantage or disadvantage. Only about 10% of the population is left-handed, and many lefty guitarists learn on right-handed instruments. So what about Paul McCartney, you guys? Do you know about him and his left-handedness? Paul McCartney left-handed? Because he is left-handed and plays guitar left-handed. But before the alleged car accident that he didn't pass away in, he was right-handed. He became left-handed overnight. I just wasn't sure which it was, if he was left-handed and then switched to right-handedness. But no, he was right-handed and then switched to left-handedness. Allegedly. He also grew a couple of inches. 3 inches. He went from 5'11" to 6'2". How tall does it say he is? Like overnight. You guys know that whole conspiracy, right? Google it. Google it. It'll take you down a rabbit hole. Paul McCartney height. It better say that he's 5'11", because he was 5'11" before the car accident. Yeah. Okay. It says that he's still 5'11", I think. Anyway, I'll look at that more. So, yeah, that whole thing was crazy. But yeah, he still won't do DNA tests either, like how JaZ won't do a DNA test with that son of his. Is it Ramir? I was talking about it the other day. A lot of people are talking about it online. Because he is very actively trying to get JaZ to submit to a DNA test his son. His secret son, Ramir, Rymir, Satterswaith, I think is how you say his last name. So his secret son, alleged secret son, Ramir Satterswaith, is 31 right now. He's been trying for like a decade to get JaZ to admit that he's his father, just so that he can get on with his life. But the problem, and why JaZ won't admit it, is because allegedly JaZ got Ramir's mother pregnant when she was 16. And JaZ was, I think, 22. So even though it wasn't a massive age difference, it was still jailbait. So that's why he's fighting that. And that's really sad. And Granny Annie already Googled it, so I didn't have to. Good evening, JaZ and chat. Dang it, Nancy. Lovely to see you here, my dear. Thanks, you guys, for being on this surprise live with me. I'm going to try to do a regular live tomorrow. I just wasn't able to do one during the day today because I had to take the dog to the vet in Columbus, and they are so good there. They're so good. It's amazing. I would like to see who was on that trip Hallerpen passed away on. Feels like someone would have motive to off him. Yeah, Annie. Yes, there was also somebody, maybe it was the one who was actually the medical examiner. Somebody got passed away on the freeway when they were leaving work on the on-ramp. They had car trouble and then a drive-by, allegedly. Somebody that was involved with the whole thing. I'm not sure if it was the medical examiner or who that was. I can do some research and try to tell you guys tomorrow rather than keep looking stuff up. We all know she did it. What convinced me is the autopsy and the amount of H in his system. He would have been incapable to pull the trigger, much less pick it up. Money makes you do crazy things. Well, and it's her own freaking fault that she made him sign a prenup because she had some money when they got married and he didn't. But she only married him because she thought he was going to get super famous. So she screwed herself. What do they say? She screwed the pooch. Sorry. Granny Annie is traveling, says, sounds like Courtney strategically dated 2 key men to pull off a red rum, or 3 or 4 red rums, in my conspiracy theory, humble opinion, allegedly. They can go back, did for the stabbing bride in back of her head. So the thing with Stephanie Sargent, Mia Zapata, and Kristen Pfaff is that they were all like extremely good looking and extremely talented, like true, real, actual talent. And by getting them out of the way, who became the grunge princess, right? And it's kind of the same thing like with Aaliyah and some others that got out of the way, and Tupac and Biggie, who got out of the way so that the prince and princess of R&B could take the stage because the competition was gone. And so they won all the Grammys and all the music the MVAs, the MTV Music Video Awards, and they got all the attention, blah, 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 blah. Like, because, nothing is ever enough. And you can't have real competition by real people. You got to just get them out of your way so that you can have everything, because that will solve all of your problems and nobody will ever figure it out, right? Wrong. I mean, people will get suspicious. And then when you scrub things off the internet, then it makes you look really suspicious. So keep scrubbing, people. Keep scrubbing, because that tells us everything we need to know right there. Don't you love it when stuff gets scrubbed? I do, because I'm like, if it wasn't scrubbed, I would think it was just a conspiracy theory. But somebody's scrubbing it for a reason. Yeah, money does make people do crazy things, and so does fame. Power. People get power drunk. Sounds like Courtney strategically dated. Oh, I already read that one, right? Yeah. Okay. Leave the lights off to boink him. Huh? DNA answers JaZ. Stop being an idiot. Admitting your sins is a way to get off the bottom. So JaZ is in as much trouble as R. Kelly is in my opinion. It's toppling down. If his lawyer didn't come out and say that he was never friends with Diddy, I wouldn't be so convinced that everything that they're saying is complete lies. Like they're showing their hand. Like, he could say that they weren't always good friends. He could pretend like that sometimes they were good friends and sometimes they weren't, because that's a lot of times how those things go. But to say that he was never friends with him, doesn't he know as a lawyer, you never use the word never and always. Never and always will get you in trouble. So he could have said he wasn't always friends with him, and that would have been better than saying he was never friends with him, right? Because just like if he said he was always friends with him. Anyway, I'm talking in circles now. Yeah, so it shows me the desperation that they have nothing to lose, that they're just like balls to the walls, basically. Like, they'll say anything and everything, no matter how cray it sounds, because they got to try to get themselves out of this trouble, and there's no way out because the walls are closing in. And I think that there's a lot of people in JaZ's corner, especially on the internet. There's a lot of people that will fight tooth and nail to try to prove his innocence just because they're big fans of his. But just like with R. Kelly, that's not going to cut it. If there's enough proof and enough people are brave enough to come forward, like Justin Bieber, like, he's probably got stories that he could tell if he felt not so humiliated and embarrassed by it. And let's just pray for all these people, all of these victims, and pray for the safety for all these victims, because a lot of them are scared that things will happen to them, like what happened to the medical examiner, right? Man, you've just got to, sometimes speaking out about these things will make you safer. Like, if you're in a situation like, I don't want to use anybody in particular as an example, but let's say that you're one of these people that was victimized by Diddy or JaZ or both of them. Okay, let's just say that you're one of those people. If you speak out about it and then something happens to you, it's more obvious, but they can just make something happen to you without you speaking out about it because they're afraid that you might. And then, you can just have an aneurysm or pneumonia or whatever in your own residence or on the freeway or when you're traveling or what have you. Did you guys check out my necklaces? So this is the one that I was wearing yesterday, the one with that I found it. It was broken. It had been broken for like 30 years. Maybe not 30, but a lot of years, maybe 20. And then I found it yesterday, still broken. And I was like, why don't I take it apart and just use that on a chain by itself? And then it is not really the right length to wear with this other one that I made last summer. But it's all tangled up. Come on, don't be like that. Homie, don't play that game. There we go. Sorry for the cleavage. You guys don't mind, but I do. Okay. Gorgeous necklace. Thank you, girl. Thank you. Thank you. All right. I think I said everything I needed to say. I just needed to say like that. Thanks. Thank you for the crazy statements from the attorney. We can thank them for basically outing themselves as bald-faced liars, right? Like that was one of the things I wanted to say. The other thing I wanted to say was about the trafficking people on the airplanes internationally and how easy that is when you own your own airplane. Oh, man. Okay. Peace out. Love and light. Wow, we're getting close to 90 minutes. I need to shut this thing down and drink some hot tea because my throat's a little bit dry. And I love you guys. Love and light. Take care. Eat your protein and your veggies. I try so hard because I'm always telling you guys to. It keeps me reminding myself. Like I went to the grocery store tonight and I bought a pre-made salad because I can be lazy. I already ate my pre-made salad. And that's a lot of effort to eat a salad. It takes like half an hour. And I bought some broccoli and I bought some pears. What else did I buy? Fruits and vegetables wise. I bought celery. I've been on this celery kick lately, you guys. I've been loving my celery. Just like celery with peanut butter on it, or the water salad I told you guys about. Apple, celery, walnuts, and raisins. And then mayo, half plain yogurt for the dressing. I was in the grocery store tonight and the mayo was like, I am not exaggerating. It was like $8 and $9. I got to go to Aldi's to get my $3 mayo. And yeah, I couldn't believe that. I'm like, is our incoming president going to fix that? Should I call my senators and say the mayo's $9? I can't live like this. I got to have my mayo. Oh man, but Aldi's brand is really good mayo and it's under $4. It better be still anyway. Okay. Yeah, Epstein had his own airplane and guess who's been flying around on that airplane? C-3PO. Yep, incoming president has been flying around on that airplane for his whole campaign tour. Where is it now? Yeah. Make your own mayo. Drink my Metamucil dinner. No chewing. I like salad smoothies because they don't take half an hour to eat. So a lot of times I put all of the things that I would eat in a salad into my NutriBullet, which I haven't used in forever. And I put some strawberries and banana in there too to make it taste better, and a lot of water. And I used to live on that. That was like my fuel. And I keep thinking I need to be doing that again because it's like I feel so good when I eat right. So anyway, here I am. Keep saying I'm signing off and I'm not signing off. So peace out, you guys. Take it easy. Take care of yourself. I like the chewing until I bite my tongue. Getting old is lame. That's funny. I know. I mean, sometimes it's nice to just chill out and eat a salad because it makes me sit still for half an hour. And I don't sit still enough. That's why I like my yoga. It helps me sit still. So I don't know if I'll do my yoga tonight since it's already 10 o'clock. I might. I'm not sure. The video that I made last night, I can't really upload because there were problems. There was a person that kept getting on screen and I kept telling him like, hey, you're on screen. Anyway, I might be able to edit him out. I made it private, like for members only. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, you have to have a membership and then you can see who the he is and what was he wearing? Was he scantily clad? Was it like the full Monty? What was it? Anyway, love you guys. See you hopefully tomorrow. And it is about 10:15 on Tuesday, the 17th of December. Love and light. Thanks again. See you soon.